Hello everyone, it's Bianca here from third year ECE. So today I'm going to be explaining my proposal for the project Trypanosoma Detection System using Pink Z2 FPG. My project guide is Muthu Meenakshi ma'am. So, introduction. Why exactly do we need this project in the first place? So, protozoans of the genus Trypanosoma is responsible for the disease African sleeping sickness, and Trypanosoma brucei gambis is responsible for causing this disease in central and northern part of Africa. Trypanosoma brucei rudescens is responsible for causing this disease in southern and eastern part of Africa. Trypanosoma brucei is responsible for causing this disease in other animals apart from human beings. So, for the proper treatment of this particular disease, identification of the pathogen is the first step. So, for the identification of the pathogen, when we need a small, concise, movable device, when we are deploying the particular ML model in a edge device like Raspberry Pi, it is going to be very slow processing, and the frame rate is also going to be very less. So for that reason, we have to deploy this model in a system where there is parallel processing, which is the Pink Z2 FPGA board. As the pathogens are fast moving in blood, detection in flowing blood can complicate the problem, and also the presence of other components in the blood can also lead to increased need for precision and accuracy. Furthermore, on the success of this study, this analogy can also be extended to other time critical application in medicine, such as surgery and for the detection of rupture of arteries, etc., for high speed processing. Objectives: to develop and deploy a machine learning model on Pink FPGA board for the faster processing and higher resolution, and optimizing the model for real life identification of trypanosoma parasites by passing it a live stream of input images rather than existing images in the system in itself. Explore the feasibility of extending this model to other time critical application in medicine. And yeah, the study also aims to leverage parallel processing capabilities of the FPGA board by using HLS. So the problem statement is that for the identification of the trypanosomasis, traditional methods are always used, which rely on microscopes and trained professional, which is time consuming, and there are human limitations for the continuous process. So automating it by using a FPGA to do it can actually save so much manual intervention and save so much time, as an FPGA can be deployed for testing for hours and hours, and it can work so well. Then the project also seeks to address the process of developing a machine learning model optimized for Pink FPGA, enabling faster and more accurate detection of trypanosoma in blood samples. So, everyone right now might have this doubt, why exactly would we need an FPGA for deep learning when we can always use a GPU acceleration? So, FPGA offers incredible flexibility and cost efficiency when it is compared to GPU, because FPGAs can be reprogrammed for several other purposes, but GPUs cannot be reprogrammed. There is this one common GPU for all practical purposes, but FPGAs can be modified for different purposes, and so they can be optimized for higher productivity. Compared with GPUs, FPGAs can also deliver superior performance in deep learning applications where low latency is crucial, and also where there is power consumption should be lesser. Like a GPU expects uninterrupted power supply, but in places where only a limited amount of power supply in resource constrained places, it is better to use an FPGA to achieve better processing. And FPGAs can be fine tuned to balance between power efficiency and performance as per our needs. We can also customize how many LUTs we want to use, so and so on, so that it works in a very optimized and controlled way. So what? So the methodology for the study is data collection, model development, model optimization, the systems integration, testing, validation using field data, and evaluation of the model. So this is the representation of working, how exactly we want to deploy the model in the FPGA board, which is like first we want to formulate the algorithm for the code which is going to be written in Python, the CNN model which is going to be written in Python. After the algorithm is formed, it is going to be transported into HLS algorithm description like in C++ so that it can be transferred into RTL. So hardware design synthesis RTL is later going to be done. Then IP core generation. After the RTL like code is being generated, we can use VTIS HLS to generate the IP core, which can be sent to Vivado for the generation of block diagram. Using the block diagram, the dot bit file can be generated, and this dot bit file can be loaded into the Jupyter notebook of Pink FPGA, and any model that we please can be run through this method. But are there other methods of deployment? The answer is yes. We decided to go with the HLS mode of deployment because like we wanted to make a custom model from scratch, custom CNN model. But in case if we wanted to use a pre-existing model and use transfer learning, something like VGG16 or Whisper, in that or any other model from TensorFlow Garden. In that case, it's the best to go with a hardware accelerator called as Stencil. So in that case, there is no need of HLS. The entire model has to be converted into an Onyx form, deployed in Docker, and then it can be used with Stencil. It is a slightly complicated process, but it's the best to do it when really complex architectures of ML models are used. But we are not going for that specific kind of approach because it will affect the weights. Like when we are converting a normal TensorFlow model from TF to Onyx form, actually the 32-bit floating point number is going to be converted into an 8-bit floating point number. Due to this quantization, it has like it increases the scope of error and the accuracy falls down. So when the like weight value of each point is going to be changed, there is a large probability that it can increase the chances of error. And using of hardware accelerators affects the weights, but when we are using HLS it does not affect the weights. So the accuracy remains intact when we are using HLS. And also when we are using it in HLS, it can be deployed in other FPGA boards also, but that is not the case when we are using it with Tensil.ai hardware accelerator. This is the external setup that we are thinking of using. A USB camera that is directly connected to the FPGA board, HDMI output for viewing the result, or any laptop or PC for that matter would do. A router that would help us to like view and edit the Jupyter notebook. This is a general processing involved, like how the image is going to be processed and how we are going to get the result as output. Input image will be passed and it's converted into data streams, and after loading the models overlay the bit file that we had generated already, and allocation of memory to different axis streams, like allocating different set of features and weights to different portions of the memory, and processing the input that is being provided and generating the output, and like showing the output through the connected peripherals, either through UART or through LEDs. And stop. So, what are all the tools and technologies that will be utilized for implementing and realizing this project? Deep learning CNN model for image recognition that is initially written fully in Python, and feature extraction and the positive and written. Like so, HLS model that is going to be written in C++. VTIS HLS, now it is VTIS unified for the generation of the IP block. Vivado for the dot bit generation from the HLS, from the IP core that is generated from VTIS HLS. Then Jupyter Notebook for the loading of the custom overlay and also for the like accumulating of different memory locations, axis streams, and USB camera for the capturing of image, OpenCV for video capture object generation. This is the time schedule for achieving the different milestones. So, what exactly are the advantages of the proposed project over the conventional approach? Efficient, and it can perform the detection for hours. Like, unlike the traditional approach that runs on slow system and requires manual intention, like intervention, uh, like even when it is run on its CPU, it requires some human intervention, and human intervention has some limitations. They cannot continuously work for hours, but that's not the case when we are using an FPGA. It is faster and consumes less power. It is more customizable. As I already said, like it can be optimized between the power consumption and efficiency to get an ideal mix. So this is the budget estimate. The Pink Z2 board for 28,000 and OV56593 camera, USB camera for around 2,500 rupees, but we have quoted for only 30,000. So the choice of different components. So Pink FPGA. So we decided to go with Pink FPGA in comparison to some other FPGA because like it is better to it's easier to access Python using Pink FPGA. So when we are working with image files in like if the file like image data had to be converted to some other form, uh, for edge detection and all, like the using of Python would come really handy in this particular FPGA. And in case of using other FPGAs, like even from the Zinc 7000 series, for image detection, first they have to like the image has to be passed through some other tool like MATLAB for generating it as a stream of numbers before actually passing it as data to the FPGA. But that wouldn't be necessary in a Pink board. Directly connecting an USB camera would be sufficient for the like object detection or like whatever pattern we are trying to detect. USB based camera module direct interfacing with FPGA, like which is unlike this OV7670 camera, this camera over here, which has several pins to be connected, but that wouldn't be necessary over here. In case we are using a Nexus board, like there is no direct USB connection possible, and we have to manually connect every single pin of this to be able to access the camera. And also like this kind of camera module is way slower in comparison to a faster USB camera with more quality. So additional features which like are the basic features of Pink: hardware acceleration, high frame rate, hardware accelerated algorithms, real-time signal processing, high bandwidth, low latency, etc. So, what are the final deliverables that we aim to give at the end of the study? A machine learning model that would be running in Pink FPGA that is capable of identifying the trypanosoma in different blood samples, even with the presence of other different components in the blood, with a live camera stream, and comprehensive documentation of the entire model and all the processes involved during the generation of the model, and of course, a report. This is the progress that has been done till now. So, like initially, the Pink FPGA has been booted with like the micro SD card with the Pink OS running on it. It has been flashed and it's running fine. And I was also able to control the different peripherals of the Pink FPGA board, like the LEDs and the switch, like the push button switches and all. And this was the basic block diagram of like HLS IP block and the block diagram that I generated for a small custom FIR filter. It's not completely done, but so far it is working well. Like I was not able to fully generate the dot bit stream, but I'll troubleshoot it and finish it soon. So, and one thing that I was successfully able to finish was like hardware based accelerated resizing of images. In that, the dot bit file was not generated by me, but I tried to run it in Jupyter Notebook, and I was able to see how the latency was reduced by a large amount. So this is the reference for the FPGA versus GPU page that we had earlier on, the citation.